Family, at this time, welcome our Chancellor, Dr. Anthony Graham.
Great morning. Oh, no. You woke up on the right side of the earth. You better say great morning. Great morning. I am so honored and pleased to be a Golden Lion. This is my first homecoming, my first alumni assembly, and I am loving every second of it. Thank you so very much for welcoming me to the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. Before I launch into my commentary, I want to make sure that we recognize a few people. If we have any members of the University of Arkansas system, any members of the University of Arkansas System Board of Trustees, or any elected officials, if you would please stand so we can recognize you at this moment. Thank you for your presence today. I want to make sure that I recognize my family joining from the great state of North Carolina and Washington, D.C. I'll ask my little brother, Scotty Graham, to please stand. I call him little, but he's 6'4", so I guess he's not really little. My nephew, John Robinson, from Washington, D.C., excuse me. And my great friend, Dr. Lakeisha Williams from North Carolina A&T State University. Thank you all so very much for coming down to Pine Bluff to be with me this weekend. Also want to make sure that I recognize members of the Executive Cabinet. So Cabinet members, if you would, please stand. These individuals work every day to ensure that we chart a path forward for UAPB. I want to ask all of our faculty, staff, coaching staff, administrative staff, if you would please stand. These individuals do the heavy lifting on a daily basis. They ensure that this institution runs and hums in the way it should. So I thank you all this morning for the work that you do. Thank you. And finally, I will ask that our phenomenal, fantastic, amazing students at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, please stand. Students, please stand. I certainly want to make certain that we never get twisted. What we do here, every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, every month, every year, is predicated upon these students. So we want to make certain that we always keep them at the focal point of what we do. And finally, I'll ask all of our alumni, please stand. Happy homecoming, and thank you not only for coming back for homecoming, but also for all that you do every day to invest in dear mother. Before I go much farther, I want to ask us if we would please take a moment of silence. Unfortunately, last night after the bonfire that we had on campus, there were 4 students from Philander Smith in Little Rock who were unfortunately injured in a car accident, 4 young men. 1 young man lost his life. So I will ask if you would please take a moment of silence in honor of the young man who lost his life. And in your moment of silence, I ask that if you please will pray to whomever your creator is for those 3 other individuals who are in critical condition this morning. If you would please take that moment of silence. Thank you. Every second is a gift. So it's important that we cherish every moment that we have. Don't wait to tell someone how much you care and how much you love them. You never know when you'll have the opportunity, if you have the opportunity again. So, my understanding is I have you for an hour, so sit back and relax. See, I'm gonna say this as ebonically as I can. Y'all done messed up. You hired the son of a black Baptist pastor who's also a professor. So the one thing I can do is talk. So relax a little while. No. Seriously, I'm going to move as expeditiously as I can and try to get through what I have to say in about 20 minutes. There will be some things that I move through very quickly, but I ask that you don't fret. I promise and I vow that I will come to you in your cities and we can have deeper conversation. So if there are things that I say that you want to have some additional conversation and discussion, don't worry, I'm coming to you. All right? So this morning I'm going to chat with you a little bit about what I'm calling our collective call to action, charting the path to preeminence at the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. So let me share with you very quickly. I shared with you a second ago that I'm the son of a Southern Baptist pastor. We always believe that you begin a conversation by grounding your discussion in text. And this morning I won't use a good book to ground the discussion, but I will use a quote from the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. from a speech that he gave in 1967 called Beyond Vietnam. And that quote reads as follows: "Rarely do we find people who willingly engage in hard, solid thinking. There's an almost universal quest for easy answers and half-baked solutions. Nothing pains some people more than having to think." And I will add to Dr. King's words, not only must we think, but we must take bold, courageous action. What good is it to think if you're not willing to make the difficult decisions to move and advance forward? In order for the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff to advance, we have to engage in hard, solid thinking. And then it must be followed immediately by bold, courageous action, understanding that that action will likely upset some people. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. As I shared during our faculty staff seminar back in August, I am here ready for all the smoke. But I guarantee you this, I'm bringing smoke with me. So what you see before you is a little bit about me, because I have not had the honor and privilege of meeting all of you in person, and I look forward to doing so. And I won't go through everything you see on that slide, but I will say to you, for me, the most important thing on that slide is that I am a former teacher. And I won't say former, I am still a teacher. I've learned a lot about what it means to respond to the needs of people as an educator. So I use the word teacher as an acronym that means something. Every letter means something. And I won't go through every letter today, but I've highlighted intentionally the word honesty. You can't get better if you don't tell people the truth. And I realize that there's some people who like to be lied to. I am not the person to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. And how you deal with it is how you deal with it. I did my job. So in this space of being a teacher, there are a couple of things I want you to know. Yes, I'm always going to be honest. And secondly, I'm always going to push for more. Complacency does not equate with Anthony. That is not who I am. I'm always pushing for excellence, unapologetically. Will Foster says the following: "Excellence is never an accident. It is the result of high intention sincere effort, intelligent direction, skillful execution, and the vision to see obstacles as opportunities. Good is not good enough. I'm not interested in great. I want excellence. This institution will become excellent. So, let me talk to you a little bit this morning about where we are. But I want to frame it by helping you understand the context in which we are currently operating and existing as an institution. So I'm going to use the funnel approach. I'm going to talk first about what's happening at the federal and national level. Then I'm going to narrow down to what's occurring at the state level. Then I'm going to narrow down and talk about very briefly what's happening at the University of Arkansas system level. And then I'm going to talk about what's happening here at UAPB. I'm going to move fairly quickly, but I want you to follow me. At the federal and national level, a couple of things I want you to be aware of. You've likely heard from our current administration of this thing called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. I'm not here for value judgment this morning. I'm here to present the facts. What I will tell you, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act is completely transforming higher education in a very radical way, in ways that we've never seen. Putting borrowing caps on how much money students can take in terms of loans to attend college, capping Parent Plus loans, eliminating forbearance and deferment for hardships, impacting students who look a lot like I do, impacting students whom we primarily serve, not only at UAPB, but our minority-serving institutions across this nation, making it more difficult and challenging for students not only to attend college, but also to graduate from one. I won't add my commentary about whether or not that is intentional design. I'll leave that to you to determine. But I know you're intelligent people because you graduated from UAPB. So I know that you can see the game that's being run on us. And I'll leave it at that. The other thing that I want you to pay attention to is that the One Big Beautiful Bill Act is now calling for institutions to show that they're having significant return on investment on our graduates. And I want you to understand that if institutions cannot illustrate that they're having impact in this way, it is likely those institutions will no longer exist. We live and operate in a different time. You've likely also heard that there's a demographic cliff in terms of students who are coming to our 2-year, 4-year institutions of higher education. Fewer and fewer students are electing to enroll into higher education. I also call your attention to what's happening with respect to our race and ethnicity of our high school graduates. We are seeing a declining of Black students, of Asian students, of white students, but what we're not seeing is a decline among multiracial and Hispanic students. Between now and 2041, we're expecting a significant increase among those groups of students. That's nationally. Within the state of Arkansas, we're expecting to see the same trend. And in those contiguous states to Arkansas, Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Tennessee, Louisiana, we're expecting to see the same type of trajectory. More multiracial students, more Hispanic students graduating from high school, fewer Black, white, and so forth. I want you to hold on to that for a few moments, because the demography of whom we serve is shifting. And if this institution is to exist for another 150 years, our strategy for recruitment and enrollment must shift. At the state level, Governor Sanders has introduced what she calls the Access Bill. Acceleration, common sense, cost, eligibility, scholarships, standardization. I won't go through all the nuances of the Access Bill because it impacts K-12 and higher education. but I call your attention once again to this notion of return on investment. And in this state, we've already begun to discuss what return on investment would look like in terms of a formula. That formula is on the screen before you. Potential wages based on the academic discipline in which our students are pursuing degrees, plus whatever the cost of attendance is minus financial aid received. And from that, you subtract it from post-completion earnings over an 8-year window. So over 8 years, are we able to see that we had return on investment on student progress and performance post-graduation? And I want us to understand again, and I reiterate this point again, if institutions are unable to demonstrate in a very quantitative and quantifiable way that we've had direct impact on student return on investment, you can expect to see those institutions begin to close down shop. Our institutions are being threatened. How we respond in an intelligent way is what will determine what happens to UAPB and the other historically black colleges and universities on this earth. At the University of Arkansas system level, we have a new system president, General J. Severia. President Severia brings with him a history of being a great leader, but also being very attuned to focus on data. So we have to move beyond what we feel, what we think, what we believe, to being able to show and prove what's occurring. Data rules. We have new pillars that will drive what happens in the system. Focused on access, student success, research, resources relative to public trust, statewide needs and technology. So we must evolve what we do here to ensure that we are in alignment with what's happening at the system level. And I want to call your attention to how our universities are funded. And I thank Vice Chancellor Horton, our Chief Financial Officer, for bringing you up to speed with our funding formula here. On the screen before you, you see exactly how our institutions are assessed and evaluated. Effectiveness of the institution at 80%, meaning how many students are earning credentials? What progress are they making toward earning said credential? Affordability, how long does it take a student to earn a degree? How many credit hours were attempted at the point of completion? Research, efficiency. These are the metrics that either generate revenue for this institution or cause us to give funding back because we're not performing at an optimal level. The way in which this formula works, for the most part, you're receiving 1 point for these types of metrics. But you can earn additional points for serving certain types of students, certain types of individuals. Underserved populations. So if you're Hispanic, Black, African American, if you're a Pell Grant recipient, if you're an adult learner. So we should be receiving points because UAPB serves these students primarily and predominantly. I'll come back to that in a second because I think we should be earning points. STEM and high demand degrees. We're a land-grant institution. Our existence is predicated upon STEM, agriculture, education, nursing. We should be earning points. Again, I said should be. Credits at completion. Students who complete their degrees with 120 credit hours get 1 point. For every hour you go over that, your points begin to reduce. This is what we call undergraduate degree efficiency. It takes 120 hours to graduate. You should take, enroll, and complete 120 hours. The more classes you're dropping, the longer you're likely going to stay, the less efficient you are. It reduces the point values for the institution. Stated differently, you shouldn't take 150 credit hours to graduate with 120. Get in, get out. You heard our HGA president say that we've adopted the mantra, 4 no more. 4 years, graduate. That is a cultural shift. I'm going to talk more about it in just a few seconds. Additionally, we get points for how long it takes you to graduate. 4 years, you get 1 point. For every year you stay after, the point values reduce. So let's talk about where we are, family, because I told you I would be honest with you. And if your family is like my family, we can be honest, we can tell you the truth. It might sting a little bit, but we still can love each other afterwards. On the screen before you, you see our productivity outcomes between 2020 and 2023, based on those metrics that I just shared. You will see that for credentials awarded, the baseline of 5,991 to 2023, 5,496, a decline of 8.3%. Progression, a decline of 6.7%. Credits at completion, a decline of 9.4%. Time to degree, a decline of 13.1%. Decline, 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 decline. This is the last day I'm going to stand before you and say the word decline. Family, this is unacceptable. Our fall, spring total enrollments. You will see fall of 2022, we're 2,387 students. Fall of 2025, we're 2,010. 15% decline from fall of 22 to fall of 25. And then one of the slides that haunts me every night, our retention and attrition rates. Our first year retention rate is actually pretty good. We retain 62% of our students. That's good, it ain't excellent. Got work to do. But what bothers me most is when you begin to look at our second, third, and fourth years, you see that we lose way more students than we retain. That is not only unacceptable, that is criminal. I told the cabinet last week that I'm interested in institutional best practice, not institutional malpractice. This is institutional malpractice. I will not allow it. We are going to do right by these students. The impact of those productivity outcomes and the enrollment decline, you will see on the screen before you in year 6 and 7, almost $1 billion decline, deficit, because we're not performing at the level at which we should. Now, how does that impact us? It impacts us because it means we're not able to give our faculty and staff compensation increases. It impacts us because it means we're operating an institution that's larger than our actual enrollment, which then means we have to make adjustments to the staff size. It means that we can't provide the types of financial resources to the students that they need so that they can come to the institution and matriculate on time. Mrs. Willett Totten said something during our strategic prioritization session back in July: everything affects everything. This affects everything that we do on our campus. So, but I wanted to make certain you understand the reality of where we are today and why we desperately need you, the people in your classes, and the folks who didn't even graduate, who are still considered alone, to do a little bit more. People are quick to tell me what I need to do more of. I'm here this morning to tell you what you need to do more of. Told you I'm ready to smoke. So in order for us to become a preeminent institution, the first thing we got to do is agree on what we call DAC, from the Center for Creative Leadership. Direction, alignment, commitment. Where are we going? What's the direction? We got to be very clear about where we're going. Then we need to align all of our resources, financial, human, fiscal, physical, everything we got to ensure that we're moving in that direction. And then we got to make sure we got the right people committed to the task. And I'm not talking about people who say, yes, I love UAPB. Don't tell me you love it, show me you love it. So what I learned between the time that I was named Chancellor back in March to when I arrived in July is that we have a lot of well-intentioned people doing a lot of good work, but they're all over the place. Everybody's going in their own direction. No more. Everybody in this room and everyone external to this room moving forward, I want us to be very clear about what our direction is. It's student success. Everything we got goes into our students. Everything. Also want to be clear about the vision of this institution. In our vision statement, we say that we are a preeminent land-grant institution. I stand before you this morning and I say, slow down, not so fast. We're not there yet. We're good. We're not yet great, but we're certainly not at a state of excellence. We've got to work our way there. We're going to work our way there by making certain that we stay focused on specific pillars that will move us to a state of preeminence. Student success is pillar number one. Preeminent institutions grow their enrollment. We can't have a 15% decline. Every year we need to see enrollment growth. Why is there enrollment growth at a preeminent institution? Because people want to come to the university. You've got something to offer me, and I see that you have something to offer me. I'm clamoring to come to your institution. Are people clamoring right now to come to UAPB? That's rhetorical. We've got work to do. Preeminent institutions ensure that we retain our students semester after semester, year after year. This is pillar number two. A four-year degree now is the floor. It's the minimum. Everybody's getting a four-year degree. What more can we do to accentuate the degree? Are our students engaging in internship opportunities? Are they engaging in study abroad, study away? Are we engaging them in research opportunities? We've got to make certain that we're accentuating the four-year degree. Because I promise you, our students are competing against other students from other universities who are graduating with these things in tow. If you don't believe me, I always tell people, look up Elon University in Elon, North Carolina. They've mandated that their students graduate with a variety of those experiences along with the four-year degree. And the transcript just doesn't show these are the classes I took with the grades I earned. It actually shows I did 3 internships. I studied abroad in Belize. I studied abroad in China. And these students are able to talk about those experiences and how it makes them better positioned for their employment opportunities. Are our students ready to compete? If not, we got to get them there. And I am a competitor. I don't like to lose. Are we ready to compete? I don't want to hear it, I want to see. that positions our students so that they can have economic and upward mobility. If not, we need to shut those programs down. Reinvest and reappropriate those dollars in places where it matters. We can't keep offering things that we offered in the 1950s, no offense, that may not be relevant today. Gotta make the hard decisions. Employee excellence. I want people across this state and across this nation demanding, I want to hire that person from your campus because they're so good. As opposed to people being stuck here because nobody wants them. Told you I'm going to be honest this morning. And research excellence. There's no reason why UAPB should not be a Research 2 institution. We're going to push into the Research 2 space. These are the things that move us to a state of preeminence. But to get there, it necessitates that we create an educational ecosystem, not an ecosystem. We can't have people walk around here with their own personal agenda thinking about themselves. So this year we've said we've got to identify the big rocks. What are the things that we need to move most urgently so that we can begin to clear a path to preeminence? And we said this year our big rocks would be enrollment growth, accountability and operational efficiency, communications and messaging. We need to grow our enrollment. 2010 is nice, but we need to move it. We need to hold people accountable. If you've been hired to do a job, do it. And if we're leaders and people are not doing the job, why are they still here? And we need to become more efficient in what we do. Shouldn't take 6 months to get somebody paid. And Lord knows we got to do a much better job communicating, not only with you, but to the external world about who we are and what we do at UAPB. So here's where I'm going to ask you to begin to work with us to become a preeminent institution. But I'm going to contextualize my comments with a couple of things. Number one, I want you to realize that we've got some momentum. We've got a $33 million student engagement center that we'll bring online in the spring. We've got a $15 million investment for a new health and allied sciences building. We just were awarded a $2 million grant from the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. That money will help us modernize what we do in our enrollment management space. Hopefully you heard earlier this week that we received the largest gift in UAPB history, $5 million from the Wingate Foundation. And I want to point out that yes, 2010 is not where I want us to be in terms of our enrollment, but there was a stabilization in our enrollment. No longer So we've got some things to do, and here's some things that we're going to do as we move toward preeminence. We're doing some foundational work. We're cleaning up some of our operations, the way things flow. We're going to improve campus safety. We must. So we're investing nearly $1 million, if you will, into what's happening in this by way of campus safety, emergency call boxes, surveillance cameras, and things of that nature. We have engaged in a partnership with the National Institute for Student Success at Georgia State University so that we will begin to work in a very focused way on student success and academic advising on this campus. And my good friend Tim Rennick, who over this, said to me, Anthony, we won't charge you a dime. There's $250,000 for the moving And we've got to ensure that we're hiring permanent leadership on the campus. It's hard to advance when you don't have permanent leadership. So we will start by hiring permanent academic deans and then hiring permanent department chairs and otherwise. So, let me begin to round the bend so I can close here. One of the things that I continue to hear from alumni as I engage you is this phrase. Chancellor Graham, just tell me what you need from me to help. Well, this morning I'm going to give you the 7 specific things I need from you. I would love for you to do all 7, but if you can't do all 7, a minimum of 3. I want you to take notes on this. The first thing I need for you to do, and let me kind of set you up for the first thing. On the screen before you, you see our alumni giving from 2021 to 2024-25. And I want you to realize in 2022, we're at $1.2 billion. 2024, we're at $637,000. It's a 50% decline in the amount of funds given to the institution by our alumni. Also, when we look at other HBCU alumni giving to the institution, I hope you see that UAPB's alumni giving rate is at 5%, compared to 47.7% at class level, 39% at Bennett, or 35%, excuse me, spelling, 5% at Bennett. We're at 5%. How does that impact what happens on a daily basis here? I want you to realize that our scholarship awards over the last few years has declined. We went from 903 number of students that we were able to give funds to 683. The average scholarship amount has declined from 1,800 to 1,400. At a time when our students have more financial need, we're giving less. So when you ask me what's something you can do, invest in the institution. And I'm not just asking you to invest in any way, invest in our scholarship for our students. We have campaigns that we're launching. Lions at the Goal Line. Looking at those students who have earned 90 credit hours. They're seniors. And we want to get them across the goal line so that they can graduate in 4 years. We need to be able to support them. How does that help? It helps ensure that they graduate in 4 years. It positions them for upward and economic mobility, but it also helps the institution on our performance metrics, which then generates revenue so that we can invest back into the institution, which benefits the students. The same thing holds true for our transfer students. They come with hours, we can get them out more quickly, so we want to invest in them so we can get them across the goal line more quickly, which then benefits them, benefits us, everybody wins. We got to stop playing checkers and start playing chess. We need your support. Number 2, our students need to engage in what we call high-impact practices. Our students need to engage in paid internships. Our students need to engage in paid research opportunities. Our students need to study abroad and study away. Some of our students have never been outside the state of Arkansas. Taking them to Atlanta is a learning experience. but it costs money to get them there. We need to invest in these types of experiential learning opportunities. That's number 2. Number 3, we need for you to serve as an ally and a conduit to capital. Perhaps you can't give $10,000, but if you've got 50 people in your network and they all can give toward $10,000, we can get $10,000. Are you serving as a conduit to that capital? Mr. Brooks said last night, we need for you to be a voice to our legislatures, our elected officials. There are things in this state that are a little abnormal, quite honestly. This state doesn't invest in deferred maintenance. Buildings that belong to the state aren't being taken care of by the state. We have to find the money internally to take care of the state's buildings. Other states don't do that, you all. We need legislation that pushes us into these directions. We need your voices. We need your votes. These are the types of things we need from you to ensure that you're an ally and a conduit to capital. Number 4, we need your support relative to your physical presence. We need you to attend university events. We need you to buy tickets to games. We need for you to serve as a mentor to our students, participate in career fairs, mock interviews. We need you to support us in a physical way. And please, my last 3 items. Stop saying that UAPB is a hidden gem. Gems are not intended to be hidden. UAPB is a gem. Period. Full stop. Let's stop buying into this narrative of us being a hidden gem. Now, we got to do a better job communicating to the external world who we are and what we do, but we are not a hidden gem. This place is one of God's gems. The other thing I need for you to stop doing. Well, Chancellor, we'd be okay if we just did what we did back in 19 fill in the blank. Well, back in 19 fill in the blank, this administration wasn't in office. Back in 19 fill in the blank, there was no return on investment metric. Back in 19 fill in the blank, there was no, you get the point. It's not to say that what happened back in 19 fill in the blank wouldn't be applicable today, but we need the data to substantiate that claim. Things have changed. We must evolve. And finally, please stop blasting this institution on social media. Do not stand in my face and say, Chancellor, we need to increase enrollment. Then go post on Facebook that this institution is the worst place on earth because we didn't do this and we didn't do that. I met with a group of students last week, and those students said that I came to this university despite what I heard about the institution. How do you expect us to increase enrollment if you're blasting the institution on social media? And guess what? When you do it, you still got to come back and work with us here. So going to the court of public opinion didn't help you at all. You still have to come back here and work with us. Now, I vow to you that we will get better returning your phone calls, returning your email messages, being more responsive. But don't allow that frustration to spill over where you're talking badly about this institution. Don't say, dear mother, and then you go talk bad about your mother. I don't know who your mama is, but Scotty Graham and I will tell you that if I talk badly about Ella Graham, she's going to slap me down on the floor. You don't disrespect your mother. You don't disrespect your mother. So I'm going to end right where I began.